Okay, is there someone who has done Vipassana, that 10-day retreat? So what you went on doing in those 10 days?
Just looking at breath.
Just looking at breath. What about your body? And what about the postures and the asana practice?
No asanas.
No asana practice? Only one asana? Sitting cross-legged. For how long?
10 days.
No, 10 days for sure, but in one day how much?
1 hour. Maximum 2 hours.
Oh, no. 10 hours a day.
But we had breaks in
Yes, for sure, there are breaks, but the only thing you're supposed to do, that is asana. So you sit 1 hour, maybe walk a bit. You're not allowed to have the eye contact. You're not allowed to talk. You just stay silent for 10 days, every day 10 hours of meditation pose. And you observe your breath. That's what you do. So anytime, why am I saying so? Because if you go to any traditional ashram of yoga to learn meditation, prerequisite for you to have the guidance from master, it's your ability to sit for 3 hours without any discomfort. Prerequisite for you to have guidance from a master, that you're supposed to develop an ability to sit in a posture for 3 hours without having a discomfort. If you can sit 3 hours without moving your body, now you're ready to learn meditation. Now you're ready to learn meditation. Otherwise, master will send you to an Hatha Yoga teacher or an Hatha Yoga master, so you can open your body up to that extent where you can use your body to sit for at least half an hour. At least half an hour I must sit comfortably in a pose, because then only I can have a glimpse of meditation. But then there are people, they cannot even sit for 5 minutes. Yes?
You can sit on a chair.
Yes, you can sit on a chair. You can sit on a chair. But cross legs are needed because there are specific things needed. And what are those things? For instance, if I take it to the anatomy side, sitting in chair in comfortable position, that means... Yes, but let's see and let's compare what I'm going to present it. People argue and they say, yes, what about if I sit on chair? If it is really a physical limitation due to an injury or due to aging, if I'm 90 or 95 or 100-year-old and I can't sit, for sure I would say chair. But if I'm just 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, I need to try. I need to try it out. And why I need to try it out? So think about the range of motion which occurs in a meditative pose. So range of motion is defined under 3 planes of movement, and we know them as sagittal, transverse, and frontal. These are the 3 planes you're going to discuss with Deepa after a few days. So range of motion is defined under these 3 planes. So either your joint is moving in sagittal plane, or your joint is moving in transverse plane, or your joint is moving in frontal plane. Sagittal plane, so anytime I walk, this is a sagittal walk. So this is what? Flexion of my shoulder joint, extension of my shoulder joint, flexion of my hip, extension of my hip. So when I walk, this is a sagittal walk, sagittal corridor. Anytime I do this, this is frontal. Anytime I rotate my shoulder, this is transverse. Anytime I turn my toes outward, that is transverse. So let's compare what happens. So anytime you sit in a comfortable sitting pose, so right now you're sitting in a comfortable pose, so the angle between your thigh and your trunk, angle between your thigh and your trunk, how much is it? How many degrees? 90 degree. So this is sagittal plane. On chair, this is possible that this matches. On chair, there is a possibility for you to have 90 degree of hip flexion. So in this regard, it's perfect. What about transverse plane? How many degrees of rotation is happening at both of your hips? How many degrees of rotations is there at your hip? So like this is 0 right now. If I do this, this is 90 degree. So to sit in a comfortable cross-leg position, I require 90 degree of hip rotation. And on top, how much is frontal? Your thighs are going far from each other. How far they are from center line? No, not 90. So this is center. They just go this way. 45 degree. So frontal plane 45 degree. If any position on chair brings this much, I would say just do that. If you want to sit on a chair and that position brings this much, I would say just go for it. Why? Because this is a position which keeps your hip in a particular plane of existence where a lot of emotions are going to pop up at the surface level. A lot of memory is going to pop up from your childhood. A lot of stuff which was stored by you somewhere in the basement is going to pop up at the surface. And because of that, hip opening is must in yoga. Because first step in yoga, that we need to go to the basement of our own subconscious and unconscious mind and clean that up. Because without cleaning that subconscious and unconscious realm, peace of mind, it's not possible. So anytime I start sitting for half an hour in a pose, maintaining this much range of motion, what happens? I would say like 60% of yoga asanas, they are hip openers. 60% of asanas, they are hip openers. And why it is so? Because hip is the place where we store a lot of emotion, unresolved emotion. So once we start opening this area, it's not just a physical opening. It's a psychophysiological opening. It's a psychophysiological opening. I'm not just opening up my body, but at the same time, I'm opening up my mind. So until unless I'm not having an injury or a physical limitation which stops me, I must try cross-leg positions. I must try cross-leg positions because they have their reason.